Two fighters, one ring, nowhere to hide. Boxing is often called the sweet science, but at its core, it is the most primal test of human endurance and will. Before the million-dollar purses, the flashing cameras, and the pay-per-view spectacles, boxing was a brutal fight for survival. It is quite literally one of the oldest sports in human history. So, how did we get from ancient brawls in the dirt to the mega arenas of Las Vegas? Put your mouth guard in. This is the incredible, bloody, and glorious history of boxing. The earliest visual evidence of boxing dates back to around 3000 BC in ancient Mesopotamia. But it was the ancient Greeks who officially made it a sport, introducing it to the Olympic Games in 688 BC. Back then, there were no rings, no weight classes, and no rounds. You fought until your opponent was knocked out or raised their index finger to submit. Fighters wrapped their hands in leather thongs called immentis not to protect the opponent, but to protect their own knuckles so they could punch harder. When the Romans took over, things got dark. They invented the cestus leather gloves fitted with metal studs, spikes, and iron plates. Boxing shifted from an athletic contest to a gladiator blood sport, often ending in death. It became so incredibly violent that the sport was actually banned entirely in 393 AD. Boxing would disappear from the history books for over 1,000 years. Fast forward to late 17th century England. Boxing returns, but as illegal, underground bare-knuckle prize fights. It was absolute chaos. Headbutting, choking, and throwing were all completely legal. In 1719, a man named James Figg claimed the title of the first bare-knuckle boxing champion. But the sport needed structure if it was going to survive. Enter the Marquis of Queensberry rules in 1867. This was the turning point that birthed modern boxing. These rules mandated the use of padded gloves, instituted 3-minute rounds with a 1-minute rest, and introduced a legendary 10-second knockout count. Wrestling was out. Strategy was in. Boxing was no longer just a brawl. It was a sport of skill, footwork, and calculating precision. As the 20th century dawned, the epicenter of boxing shifted to America. John L. Sullivan became the first recognized heavyweight champion under the new rules. But boxing was about to become much more than just a sport. It became a mirror for society. In 1908, Jack Johnson became the first black heavyweight champion, battling brutal racism and shifting the cultural landscape. In 1938, Joe Louis's knockout of Germany's Max Schmeling became a symbolic victory for democracy on the eve of World War II. And then came the greatest, Muhammad Ali. Ali brought unprecedented speed, poetry, and political defiance to the ring. The 60s and 70s gave us legendary rivalries, Frazier, creating a golden age that captivated the entire planet. The 80s and 90s followed up with the sheer, terrifying ferocity of Mike Tyson and the tactical brilliance of the Four Kings in the middleweight divisions. Boxing was officially a multi-million-dollar global enterprise. Today, boxing looks very different than it did in the dirt rings of 17th century England. The pay-per-view era, pioneered by stars like Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and Canelo Alvarez, turned fighters into the highest-paid athletes on earth. Furthermore, women's boxing has exploded into the mainstream, with trailblazers like Katie Taylor and Claressa Shields selling out massive arenas and proving the sweet science belongs to everyone. From bare-knuckle survival to a global chess match played with padded fists, boxing remains a testament to human courage. It's a sport where, when the bell rings, there is no team to pass the ball to. It's just you, your opponent, and the truth. Who do you think is the greatest boxer of all time? Ali Tyson? Mayweather? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this trip through boxing history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and keep your hands up.